glad you're here. So be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you do not miss an upload. Also be sure to hit that thumbs up to like the video and comment below if you have any questions. So this video is going to be a little different from the previous, but it's kind of going to kick off a series of a very, very important topic to me that I really want to share with you guys and hopefully be of some help to someone who might be experienced or have experienced or know someone who's experienced some of the issues I've had. So yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so clearly by clicking on this video, you kind of might already have an idea of what it's about, but just real short. Currently, as of today, I'm about a little bit over a year from my official IVF start date. So about a month ago was I call it my IVF, beginning of IVF anniversary. So that was a year ago. And so I kind of wanted to start this to kind of give a background and then share my journey with you guys on how everything went, what I experienced, what were some things that I would change, if anything, and kind of some of the challenges, and hopefully giving some type of advice to you guys. So yeah, I have my iPad here with notes because it can be so much. But just a disclaimer, I am not a doctor, I am not a medical person. This is purely off of my experience and my personal opinion in research. So by all means, I do not want you to use this as a aid or end all be all or your holy grail book, but purely just my experience. I highly recommend you have a conversation with your doctor. You talk to, your family, friends, whoever in your life before you make any big decision. So yeah, just want to throw that out there. So I kind of going to go through this, and the way I answered it just to kind of keep things kind of short and sweet. Not too detailed, but not too high level. It's kind of answered the 5 W's. If it's 5 W's, yeah. Who, what, when, where, why type of setup. So that's kind of how I'm going to go through it to touch through these things. So anyways, I won't babble. So the first is the why. And I kind of hit it with, how did we get here? So back in November 2017, I had an episode at work that landed me in the doctor's office, and ultimately I found out that I had endometriosis. So never had any idea what endometriosis was prior to this, but I had it. So went through a few doctor's appointments, and basically my doctor determined that I would need surgery. So January of 2018, I had a laparoscopy and a hysteroscopy, and that whole journey was a story in itself. So again, if you want more information on that specific procedure and surgery experience, leave a comment below and I'll be sure to make a video on it, but it's too much to go into. So anyways, I recovered from surgery, and then following that, in February, I began Lupron shots, and basically this was to kind of stop the endometriosis from growing. There's no cure for endometriosis, but you can do different things to kind of slow it down. So that's what we wanted to do after the surgery, to slow down the growth of endometriosis, to kind of give my body a chance to do what it's supposed to do. So I did Lupron shots from February to August of 2018, and basically that again was a whole experience in itself. So Lupron shots, like I said, kind of slowed the endometriosis down. So if I remember correctly, like I didn't really have cycles, and I kind of was put in menopause, pre-menopause. So my body was experiencing things that it normally wouldn't experience to kind of help my situation. So after I got off of Lupron shots, they wanted to continue this method but not as aggressive with those shots. So I ended up getting a IUD Mirena in September of 2018. And unfortunately, by January of 2019, I was experiencing some of the same symptoms that I was having prior to that, and that would include like heavy bleeding, major pain, clotting, just things along that line when my cycle would come along. So along with the IUD, the doctor would give me oral birth control as well to go along with the IUD in January. So I actually did that from January until March, and I still was having issues. It wasn't helping really at all. So they went in and did like an ultrasound and saw that indeed it was growing and I had other things going on. So they recommended surgery again. Mind you, this is literally a year after my previous surgery, but thankfully it wasn't as intense. I still had to go under, like I still was under anesthesia. So needless to say, I had that procedure, and while they were already doing what they needed to do, they took my IUD out because like I previously said, it was not helping me. So they cleaned that up. The endometriosis that was growing back, they handled it. And basically the procedure is called a DNC, procedure to remove extra tissue that isn't supposed to be there. So had that in March of 2019. And basically the doctor recommended that I try to conceive for like the next 6 to 8-ish months. So that's kind of what I started to do. So not really giving me a deadline, but giving me a deadline so we can see what was going on and how aggressive we needed to go with treatments, or if something else needed to be done with my endometriosis. So again, that was March. December 2019, that whole time frame I was trying. And December came along, and of course I had to give an update of what was going on, if I had any success. Now mind you, during this time I was tracking ovulation, I was tracking you know, everything, all the things, making sure the best day, the best week, I was doing everything. I was eating right, I was on a gluten-free diet, it was a whole thing. Please hold. Okay, sorry. So I was gluten-free. I was basically on plant-based style diets and all that. So I did that up until December, and my doctor, you know, asked me had I had any success. Clearly not. So at the beginning of 2020, obviously I had another checkup and I was not pregnant. So we began planning for testing. So by February 2020, I started doing blood work, extensive blood work, and then my husband was doing like analysis on his end. For March, he got his results, and I had to do additional blood work to really dial in and see what's going on. So after I got my blood work back, it was recommended that I go see a fertility specialist. But unfortunately, April 2020, COVID had just hit. So the doctor's office was not accepting new patients, and I want to say it was technically shut down if you weren't like in the middle of a process. I know they were canceling like a lot of people's transfers and, you know, all of that. So it was very hard time for the fertility centers. So they scheduled me for May so they can do, you know, what they wanted to do. So May came, and the first thing I did was a HSG, which is basically checking to see if my fallopian tubes were open, which I had already previously had this done as well back when my original doctor was checking all the things. But my fertility specialist, he just wanted to double check everything. So I went in May to see if that, if my tubes were open, and then his additional blood work. And lucky me, something was found during the HSG. So basically, while the test was going on, the doctor who performs this test was like, do you see that? And I'm like, yeah. So basically my tubes were open, but as they basically just put dye through your tubes, and then if it comes out, they're open. But when they were coming out, it was like spewing over something, which was a mass. So again, surgery, because you know I have all the things going on. So found out I had a mass, and for June, that was May, June, they scheduled me to get the mass removed. So surgery again. Now, if you're counting, I had one surgery in 2018, one surgery in 2019, and here we go, surgery number 1 for 2020. Seeing a track record here. So basically, after the doctor removed the after the doctor removed the mass, he had gotten all of my results back from testing, all the other analysis that we have done. And basically he told me with my situation, I could do insemination, IUI, which is basically me taking meds and multiplying my eggs and then them inserting a sperm directly to where it's supposed to go, or do IVF. But I asked him as a doctor, but then also as if he was in this situation with his wife, which I learned he has been, and what he would do if their situation was my particular situation. And he recommended not wasting money to do IUIs because of how extensive things were on my end. You know, it would be best to not waste the money and the time and the heartache and the pain if things didn't go right, to just do IVF. So, boom, we know IVF is our route. But we said we didn't want to start it immediately. We wanted to do it on our own time, but not waiting too long to where things start growing back, but not starting immediately either. But you know, lucky us, that kind of changed. Maybe a week and a half later, I started getting emails and phone calls saying that my medication was ready. And I was like, medication? I didn't order medication. So I told the pharmacy to let me give my doctor a call to see what medication they were, excuse me, see what medication they were talking about. And basically, the doctor had put in the orders. I guess they didn't give a specific date or tell them that I wanted to start on my own time, so they went on and filled it. And so I verified that the medication was to start IVF. And yeah, it was basically my decision on whether to start or wait. So talked to my husband, and we decided, hey, maybe this is our push, because I'm not gonna lie, I was very, very, very nervous about all of this. And it could have been a point where the longer I waited, the more cold feet I got. So we went on and started, and I was like, but I haven't done all the precursors to start. So basically the doctor was like, no problem. This day was Wednesday. They set me up for medication training for that Thursday. They booked me an ultrasound for Friday, as well as a consultation after my ultrasound, so I can know exactly what to do and how to do, so I can start that Friday night. So boom, that's how we got there. So basically, I went through all that and I literally started medications that Friday night. Again, voicemail came Wednesday. By Friday, it was go time. So that's kind of the how we got here. So if you're wondering, oh my gosh, is this something that I might have to go through? Don't jump to conclusions. You never know. For my particular case, which again was mainly endometriosis, but I also will give a list of other areas that were of issue. So blocked fallopian tubes, which wasn't my issue, but I did have a mass. If you have egg quality or ovulation problems, that could land you. Again, endometriosis, antibody issues. If you have, or if your spouse has sperm count or motility issues, that could be a way, or unexplained infertility. So all of these things might be a scenario where you end up having to go the IVF route. I know someone with PCOS who had to go this route. So again, it's never one thing or one specific answer. Literally confront your doctor with whatever issues you're having, so you can make the best decision and the right decision for your case and for you and your family. So, out of all the things that I named, 3 of them applied to me. But the main focus and my longest running issue was endometriosis. I was stage 3 or 4. So it had been there for a while, and I had cysts and ovarian cysts and all kind of other things going on. So it kind of was too late in my situation. So we've been talking about all these things of how do we get to IVF? What the heck is IVF? So IVF is in vitro fertilization, which basically is when mature eggs are collected from your ovaries and fertilized by a sperm in the lab. So once the sperm fertilizes with your egg, the eggs will turn into embryos once they mature. And then once they mature, you're able to transfer them into your uterus. So there's IVF, the science behind it. Basically, like I said before, when is the time to do it? Purely when you're ready, if you have an issue, and the main thing is by your doctor's recommendation. I will not recommend this to anyone until the doctor says, okay, this is what you should do. Then you can ask the questions and ask your support, friends, family, if you should do it or what you should do, if you choose to have the opinions of others. So yeah, basically between my OB and then my OB transferring me to my fertility specialist, that's how we began our IVF journey. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had for this video. So hopefully that was helpful and not too overwhelming. Dogs barking, hope y'all didn't hear that. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful and not too overwhelming, and kind of shines a light to IVF, but also other issues, female issues that were going on. And if you know somebody, or if you are going through these issues, hopefully it's something you're comfortable talking to your doctor about. I know immediately after finding out I had endometriosis, one of my first questions was, will this cause infertility? Or, will I have problems having kids down the line? So the main thing is just to ask those questions. Again, I had excruciating cramps. I had, heavy bleeding, clots, just anything that might seem alarming to you. At this point, I tell people, ask questions to your doctor, get second opinions, do your own research, and so you can know a little bit before you go in. And if you hear something that sounds weird, you'll know. But yeah, really just be in tune with your body, love on your body, but don't be afraid to just go get things checked out, because at the end of the day, you would rather know than not know. I know in my case, I had been in pain for years, from way back when I was in high school. So it could have helped if I would have caught it earlier on, but you know, no biggie. I didn't even know what endometriosis was to even ask. I didn't think I had any of the other problems either. So, you know, it's just, you don't know, so this is why I'm sharing. So if you are experiencing anything, you know, you kind of can ask and say, hey, could this possibly be X, Y, or Z? You know, anything to just help and find out. And if it's nothing, awesome, praise God. But if it does end up being something, it's not an end of the world. It's not an end all be all. There are amazing doctors out there and things you can do to get you where you need to go. And they don't have to be as extensive as I experienced, but there could be aid that could help you that are less intensive to get you what you want. So whether that's being pain-free or whether that ends in a maybe. So, all right, I'll stop rambling now. Again, if there are any questions, please leave them in the comments. Again, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you won't miss the next upload. And yeah, see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.